he's in a lose-lose situation. I'm also kind of like, I'm in a win-win situation, but I'm also stressed because I want to win, I think I'm not putting myself in any risk. We're there to have fun, to bring great tennis. Whoever wins, wins. And I think I'm not damaging this fight for equal prize money and for bringing women's sport on another level. I think we're already kind of in the way. And I think this event is going to only help to bring women's tennis on a high level, because it's not going to be an easy match for him. And I'm just going to be there competing and showing that women's are strong and powerful and actually very entertainment to watch. So I think in this event, I'm only going to help, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So the #1 female tennis player in the world, Aryna Sabalenka, she's about to compete against a man. But she says, don't get it twisted. That doesn't mean that I'm for men competing in women's sports. I'll explain. So she's about to take part in the Battle of the Sexes match, where she plays against a male tennis player. This most famously refers to a 1973 tennis match where Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs, a pivotal event in the women's rights movement. More generally, it can describe the state of persistent rivalry between men and women, a competition between men and women, or a specific game theory scenario where two players have different preferences but want to coordinate on the same event. So the Williams sisters actually did this Battle of the Sexes in the 90s, and they played against a 203 ranked male player because they said they think they can beat a man outside of the top 200. They ended up playing against a German player, Carsten Brask, and he was ranked 203. And it didn't go quite well for them. Apparently, this guy just showed up, didn't really take it too seriously in terms of preparing for the event. And he won against Serena 6-1 and against Venus 6-2. So yeah, soon after that, the Williams sisters got a realization in no uncertain terms that women, who are athletes competing against male athletes, the male athlete is obviously going to have the advantage. Even one that's ranked way below what the woman is ranked in her category.
Let's say you would be the...
I was hoping you'd say.
All right, feminine side. And me.
And you. Oh. Well, actually, it's funny because Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match. And I'm like, Andy, seriously, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because no, it's true. It's true. It's a completely... It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me.
I'm with you when it comes to tennis. I only want to play girls.
Yeah.
We got that going on.
Okay, you know that Serena Williams admits that she would be beaten by the top 1,000 men in the world at tennis, right? You know that, do you?
No, I did not.
You did not know that. So,
okay, where's the,
so you don't know that. You don't know why men and women get separated Olympics.
I would like to read those receipts.
Both Serena and Venus Williams lost.
Are you waving them? Are you waving them around?
What?
You can look it up to the 203rd ranked male player. He drank in between sets, smoked in between sets, and played 18 holes of golf before, and admitted that he played like a 600 male ranked player. And they lost in a blowout, and they are phenoms, the best of the best. No other woman for a while even could come close to them, and they got beat by a man. Let me repeat it. In a blowout, the 203rd ranked male player who admitted he played like a 600 ranked player, drank, smoked between sets, and played 18 holes of golf before.
Blossom.
So Aryna Sabalenka was recently asked about trans women, male athletes competing in women's sports. And just because she's about to do the Battle of the Sexes, she's about to willingly compete against a man, doesn't mean that she thinks men and women are the same and should be competing against each other. She made it clear in no uncertain terms.
It has raised the whole question again of this ongoing debate about trans athletes in women's sport. because obviously it highlights the physical disparity between men and women. Martina Navratilova, a former #1, obviously like yourself, says it's wrong for the Women's Tennis Association to allow trans women to compete in its events. Do you agree with her?
Well, that's a tricky question. I have nothing to do against them, but I feel like they still got huge advantage over the woman. And I think it's just not fair to a woman to basically face like the biologically man. And then it's, it's not fair. Like the woman been working the whole life to reach her limit, and then she has to face like a man, like which biologically much stronger. So for me, I don't agree with this kind of stuff in sport.
Yeah, Nick, what do you feel? Because I completely concur with what Aryna just said.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way.
Absolutely beautiful. How refreshing. The #1 tennis player in the world, female tennis player, says in no uncertain terms that it is wrong for men to identify themselves into women's tennis, into women's sports, claiming to be a woman. And people have been told that it's perfectly fair, especially if they're on hormones and things like that. No. Aryna Sabalenka has made it clear she doesn't believe that men should be competing against women. Obviously, they have an advantage. They are male. Male bodies are different from female bodies. We don't play based on identity. It's bodies that play sports, not what you identify as. Categories exist in sports for a reason. I'm not an expert at tennis, but I know that the men can serve at a much faster rate. They can hit a lot harder. And it can be dangerous. You know, the fact that they can hit a lot harder, if you're hit by the tennis ball, you know, that's been hit by a man, more than likely you will get hit twice as hard. Now, Aryna is doing this battle of the sexes because it's supposed to be fun. That's all. Doesn't mean that she's for men competing against women, you know, in tennis. Obviously, we have mixed doubles and things like that. But when we're talking about the women's category, how dare we destroy that and say that men can join that category and compete against women based on identity? Absolutely ridiculous. So this battle of the sexes, let's be real. The guy who she's playing will probably go a bit easy on her to make it fun and to, you know, ensure that everybody enjoys watching the match. We don't want the match to be over in 5 minutes, do we? So more than likely, yeah, he'll go a bit easy on her and she'll give it her all, and, you know, I'm sure it'll be a good tennis match. But I'm so glad she is saying this because so many female athletes are afraid to speak out, especially at her level. When Serena Williams said what she said on that talk show, she wasn't talking about trans athletes. She was just speaking honestly about women competing against men and how she doesn't want to. Andy Murray in mind. Obviously, he doesn't identify as trans or anything like that. She wasn't talking about policies that allow men into the women's category. No, she wasn't weighing into the issue of trans athletes. She was just talking honestly. She was just speaking out of common sense. That's it. As somebody who lost to a 203 ranked player, you know, she learned that it's obviously men have an advantage in sports over women, and that's okay. She even went as far as to say women's tennis is different from men's tennis, almost like two different sports. She went as far as to say that. Why? Because men and women are so very different. Our capabilities differ based on biology, not based on whether somebody's good at sports or not. Serena Williams, we know she is the GOAT. When it comes to tennis, Venus too. So it's not about ability. Oh, don't put women down. That's just gaslighting when they say that. Don't put women down. Women are able. Women are capable. Yes, we agree. But women are not men. And men are not women. We can't, you know, change in between the sexes as we feel like it. Obviously. And when we're talking about prize money for women's tennis and, you know, all different types of disparities that people highlight in women's sports, how on earth is allowing men to come into the women's category and dominate going to help the cause of, women's sports. It won't. Yet another factor that will hold women back. Women who already get a smaller slice of the pie.
In sport, we get this tiny proportion of the opportunities. We get 5% of the sponsorship dollar across the world of sport. For every 20 stories on men in a newspaper, we're lucky if we get one. Women get a tiny slice of the cake. So we have to fight so hard for the things that we call our own, and we are just having them taken away from us. And I just don't believe that's correct.
The women's category must be protected at all costs. And Aryna, she shouldn't be punished and attacked for simply speaking the truth. She plays tennis at the #1 level. She is the highest ranked tennis player in a women's category. So if anybody knows what they're talking about, it's Aryna. Sad to see a lot of the usual suspects on here are spreading hate and abuse towards Aryna Sabalenka. A reminder that Aryna is one of the nicest and most popular players on the tour, and one of the most genuine too. The best women's tennis player in the world says no men in women's sports. Boom. Thank you. Why don't more women athletes speak up? This is why, when World Surf League was putting a man in a bikini in the women's category, they made women surfers sign a contract saying they would say nothing negative about it or be fined $10,000.
You first reached out to Rip Curl and said, you are putting a man in a bikini in your ads. I am not promoting this. You've been my sponsor since I was 9 years old. Did you do that publicly? Did you put this on social media? Or at first, did you try to tell them this behind the scenes? Like, I'm giving you a heads up. I'm not posting while this is going on.
Respectfully, they actually came to me first and let me know that this is what was coming. I had already said, like, hey, World Surf League, I want nothing to do with you if you're making this a rule within the female surfing category. So first, the World Surf League did their move. And what was really awful about that was they had all their surfers conveniently sign a contract that said, oh, you can't say anything negative towards the World Surf League, or we will fine you $10K and you'll be removed from the World Surf League. And so all the athletes were basically like, unless they wanted to give up their career and pay $10K, they were silenced. But they didn't really probably read the fine lines like a lot of athletes do. We don't learn to read contracts, and we trust these agencies that have our best interests in mind when they don't actually, and they just want to make some money off us. I've signed some bad contracts over the years, so I've slowly learned a thing or two about contracts and whatnot. But I was like the most well-known surfer in the world. I'm not under that contract, and I staunchly am against this. And I'm like, okay, here we go. It's my turn to say no.
So we forget that these female athletes have contracts that they have to fulfill. They have endorsement deals, and it's their livelihood, it's their careers. So many stay silent, they do, for those very reasons. So it's so commendable that Aryna Sabalenka has spoken out now. So commendable. And thank you. Thank you for speaking out and just talking common sense. This isn't even a political issue. It shouldn't have to be. This is just acknowledging that the categories within tennis, within sports in general, exist for a reason. Categories exist to allow women and anybody who isn't an able-bodied man to reach the highest they can reach in their category and on their level of sports. For the inclusion of everybody who isn't an able-bodied man. That's why categories exist. So of course, we need to protect the women's category. We need to protect women's sports. So Aryna is going to go head-to-head in the battle of the sexes against Nick Kyrgios. So I wish her all the best. Nick Kyrgios himself, he has acknowledged the differences between men and women when it comes to tennis. Kyrgios has said in the past that women can't return men's serves, and at one point boasted that Sabalenka won't beat him, and he won't need to play at 100%. Sabalenka, for her part, promised she would go out there and try my best to kick his ass. The world #1 told BBC Sport she isn't feeling pressured, so it's nice when women consent to competing against men and both can have a little fun. So let's see how that turns out. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.
Bye.